Hello, hello. Hey, we're gonna have to erase that. How's everybody doing? Let's get this connected. Give me one moment. Settings. Welcome. There we go. Audio. This should be better. All right, welcome everybody. Today we're talking about real estate investing for cash flow. So, why should you invest in real estate? Well, a few reasons, but one of the most important reasons is cash flow. There we go. That's much better. All right, so you don't want to lose money investing in real estate. You want to make money, and there's a few benefits that comes with real estate investing. One of which is appreciation. One of which is depreciation. Another one is leverage. You can utilize other people's money or the bank's money to go and buy assets. You don't have to put up all the cash yourself. And then another reason is cash flow. Monthly cash flow, quarterly cash flow, semi-annually, annually. You want to buy real estate that produces a return, especially right now. And it's become a little bit harder to do so with higher rates. And rents haven't increased that much in the last year and a half. But you have to really analyze these deals to get cash flow. And so, since you can't go out and get a 3 3/4 interest rate loan, 4 1/4 interest rate loan, you got to be more selective, and you have to be more creative too. There's creative ways to get cash flow that I think a lot of people don't think about. Where's everybody viewing from? We got LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube. This is Instagram over here, TikTok. Where's everybody viewing from? Drop in the comments and let me know, is your market a cash flow market? We're here in Austin, Texas, and Austin, Texas is generally not a cash flow market, but we are able to get cash flow here by being creative and finding the right deals. So drop in the comments below, where are you at, and are you in a cash flow market or not? Austin is a hard market to get cash flow in. Apartment complexes are selling at about 4.5% cap rates, 5 caps. Therefore, only providing a 5% return if you were to buy it cash. And when your interest rate is 6, 6.5, 7.5%, it's hard to generate cash flow from it. But it can be done. You have to be creative, and you have to figure out a way to get it done. I'm going to go over an example of 6 units that we bought probably about 1 year ago. These were in Round Rock, Texas. We bought 3 duplexes. 3 duplexes, same street, all right next to each other. We found these deals via an entrepreneur that we work with. His name is Chris Sweeney. Is Chris Sweeney tuning in from TikTok today or Instagram? Anyways, Chris Sweeney was cold calling. He found this seller. I forget what month this was last year, but he found this seller that wanted to sell a duplex. These duplexes were not in the best shape, but Chris found this guy who wanted to sell, and this guy said, "Yeah, I'll sell this duplex. I'll sell it for $385." Now, at the time, that was a pretty good number. It didn't matter where the duplex was, what condition it was in. Duplexes in Round Rock were going for a minimum of $425. So, at a very minimum, we knew that there was some equity there, at least $40K worth. And so we went and we walked this duplex. and it was severely under rented. I think this one was rented out for about $1,000 a month. And we asked the seller, we said, hey, we'd love to buy this deal. Do you have any others that you consider selling? He said, yeah, I've got a lot more properties. Matter of fact, I got 2 more duplexes that I own on the same street. I'd sell all 3 of them to you guys if you are able to come in and take them off my hands at terms that we agree upon. Now, this guy, he was building some units out in Georgetown, which is a little bit further north, and he did not want to sell these cash. He didn't want to sell them where he was going to be completely bought out from the duplexes for tax purposes. So he said, hey, can you he bought all these via seller financing back in the 80s, and he likes seller finance deals, and he said, I'll seller finance these to you guys, but we have to put a 3-year prepayment penalty on it. I can't have you guys paying these loans off in the next 3 years. So we said, yeah, well, let's check it out. Let's run the numbers. Let's look at it. Let's see if we can figure out a way to come to terms here. So we did. We brought him to the office. We sat him down. We looked at all 3 of the duplexes. I think we went and walked them all as well prior to that meeting. And we sat down and we figured out a way to give him. We bought him for I think we bought him for 1.125. So we bought him for $1,125,000. Now, how much is that per duplex? Take that number divided by 3. Somewhere around like 385 or so. 1,125 divided by 3. Yeah, 375. So 375 per duplex. And how much is that per door? 187,500 per door. Now, with the rents that he was getting at the time, this would not have worked. It was not a great deal. He was bringing in about $5,500 a month in rents, which at the time, divided by 6, it's about like $916 per door. He was getting for rents, which was very low for Round Rock, even at a duplex anywhere in the Austin MSA. So he was bringing about $5,500 in. We said, look, we can we'll buy these duplexes from you. We'll take them off your hands. He was not the best landlord. He didn't have the best tenants in there. The properties were not taken care of very well. And it was kind of a headache for him. I think these tenants were calling him, or at least they were. They might have stopped, but they were calling him a lot to fix all these issues that he should have fixed as their landlord, but he never did. But anyways, it was kind of a headache for him. So he really just wanted to go focus on building what he was building out in Georgetown. He wanted to leave these duplexes alone. And he said, I'll seller finance them to you guys. I like this cash flow. I need a 3-year prepayment penalty so that y'all can, pay it off in 3 years if you want to. But until then, we need seller finance terms. So we gave him, we said, look, you're getting about this much in rents. We can't lose money every month. So let us pay you about, I forget what it is exactly, but let us pay you about $4,200 a month as the payment, and we'll put down I think we did about I think we put 100 and how much should we put down? I think we put down about $110 grand. $110,000 as a down payment. Our monthly mortgage payments are $4,200 a month. And if this would have continued as is, it wouldn't be a great deal. But we knew that these rents were far below market value. So the moment that we bought them, matter of fact, the day that we closed, a tenant's lease was ending, so they left. and we listed it for rent. We didn't do anything to the unit. All we did was clean it, and I think that's it. Clean it, and I don't even think we mowed the yard. We cleaned the property, listed it for lease, and then immediately rented it out for $1,900. Some of the other units we rented out for like $2,100. There was a lack of rentals at the time, so there was extremely high demand. $2,000 a month, and right now we bring in about total. So it's a little staggered, but right now we bring in about $11,500 a month in rent. Now we bought this for $1,125,000, so we're already beating the 1% rule. Some of these units we had to do some work to, not a tremendous amount, but anyways, this property, it has about 18. It's about $9,000 a year per duplex in property taxes. So total, let's run some annual numbers. 11,500 times 12. So it's about 138 grand annually in annual income. Our management is about 10 grand minus 10,000. We've got about $27,000 in property taxes. It's a lot. We pay $700 a month for insurance for all three. Times 12. Insurance is about $8,500. There's some maintenance. Let's say we spend about 100. Let's call it $50 per door per month. Times 6 times 12. Let's just call it $5 grand a year in maintenance. $5,000 a year in maintenance, which gives us 37 plus 8.5 plus 5 minus 138. So it gives us about 87,500 in NOI. And then remember our debt, it's about $4,200 a month times 12 minus $50,000, $50,400 in debt, leaving us with about $37,100 in cash flow annually. Now, remember, we put down about 110 grand, so 37,100 divided by 110. Oh, hi, Gia. It's a really high cash-on-cash return. This is about a 33% cash-on-cash return, but there are other things that go into it. We had to renovate some of the units. I don't know those exact numbers. It was about 15 grand in one unit, maybe 8 grand in another unit. We had to replace a AC unit or two. So this cash on cash return is smaller based on how much cash we actually put into it. But these duplexes now cash flow about $37,000 annually. But it wouldn't have cash flowed if we wouldn't have structured this seller finance debt payment. Now, this was key here. So there are ways to get cash flow in this really, even in a hot market like Austin, Texas, and even with higher interest rates, you just have to be very clever and you have to be very creative in the way that you structure these deals. And you should only structure these deals in a way that they produce cash flow, especially right now. I mean, when property prices were increasing 42% year over year, it didn't really matter if you were losing $5 grand a year in cash flow if you were gaining 150 grand in equity. But that has since stopped. And you need to be investing for cash flow right now. And it's what we're focusing on is only buying cash flowing deals. So how do you figure out if a deal cash flows or not? Well, before we dive into that, did anybody comment where they're at and if they're in a cash flow market? Temple, Texas is a cash flow market. Is that Ryan? Oh yeah, I need to go to the chat here. There we go. Temple, Texas. What was the square? All right, now I see the questions. What was the square foot of each unit? They were. It was about 1,800 square feet per entire duplex, and there were 3.2s. Where the market rents in Windsor Park, just north. It depends. We've got just a very standard single family home in University Hills, which is right there in Mueller area, Windsor Park area. Not fancy at all, just standard 3-bed, 2-bath house, and we rent it out for $2,500. And so I would say that's on the low end of rents for single family rentals in the Mueller area. Apartments, probably looking at $1,900 on the low end, maybe $2,100 on the low end. 1-bed, 1-bath apartments, somewhere around there, $1,800, $1,900. What'd you say?
This one's from Pittsburgh. Leroy's from Texas.
Pittsburgh, Texas. That's where Kat's from. Not Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Pittsburgh, Texas. All right. So, how do you figure out if a deal cash flows or not? Well, first you need to figure out your annual income. Your annual income depends on what you're buying, but it's going to be your rents. It's going to be any other income, such as laundry units, application fees, late fees, pet rents, all that stuff. Your rents, your other income. Then you have to subtract your operating expenses. Your operating expenses are things such as management, maintenance and repairs, property taxes, insurance, property taxes, insurance. You may have some utilities you pay for, any salaries if this is a bigger apartment complex, utilities, all that stuff. Contractors, legal, leasing, commissions, etc. Operating expenses. And then when you take your annual income and you subtract your operating expenses, then that leaves you with your net operating income. And after your net operating income, this is not accounting for debt. Debt is not an operating expense. It comes after your operating expenses. And so your net operating income from there, what you need to do is subtract your debt service. And that will leave you with your cash flow. And so it's basic math. If you plan to invest in real estate, and if you want to invest in real estate, you need to know how to do math. You should be able to calculate these things in your head here. When you're going and looking at a deal, you should be able to know, okay, if it's 10 units, I can rent out each unit for $1,800. That means I'm getting this much a month in rents and this much annually. Always have a calculator with you. You can do it you can do it fast. 1,800 times 10 times 12. Let's say it remains 90%. Let's say it remains 90% occupied. So then we've got, annual income of this. Let's say we can operate it for 40%, leaving us NOI of 60%. Now I got my net operating income, subtract my debt, and then I can see if I got cash flow or not. So you need to be able to do this. You need to be able to run the numbers, figure out if the property makes sense or not. And if it doesn't make sense, this is where you can be creative. So creativity is the key to being successful in real estate. So what are some creative ways? What are some creative ways that you can utilize to get a deal done? By the way, if anybody's watching this as I continue to go into a seller finance example, if you got a deal and you want to analyze it, let's look at it together here live on all these channels. All right, so here's what I do. When I'm talking to somebody and I'm telling them, yeah, I'd love to buy this property. It's a good property. It's a great location. We love the deal. It's just not going to make sense for us. We're gonna lose some money here, and we're not going to be able to get debt on the deal. But we want to buy it, and we'd love to figure out a way to get this done. Have you considered seller financing the property? Would you consider being the bank, us making mortgage payments to you? We'd have to figure out a way to do it to where it makes sense. And so I know you want that price for it. And unfortunately, we can't pay that price just with the way the numbers shake out. But we could pay that price potentially if you would seller finance it to us, and we could figure out a way to get this done. Gia loves seller financing. All right, so then I ask him, I say, Kat, I need you to come over here and be an example for me, or you can stay there. All right, Kat, we'd love to buy this property. What do you think it'll rent out for? This is a fourplex.
Each unit.
Yeah, what do you think? What do you think it'll rent out for?
Where is it at?
Just pick a place.
2,100.
2,100 a unit. Okay. All right, 2,100. You feel confident with that number? All right. I always ask her twice. I ask her or the seller, hey, what do you think it'll rent out for? Then when they give me a number, I ask them, what? Well, we'll get to it in a second. I say, do you think that's a fair number? And try and get them to agree to the number again. So you think that's fair, Kat? Yeah. All right. So you think it'll bring in $8,400 a month times 12. So that'll bring in $100,800 annually. And then I'll ask her. I'll say, Kat, do you think, Ms. Seller, do you think it'll stay rented out the whole time, or do you think that there'll be some vacancy there? You think there'll be some vacancy? What do you think is fair to account for vacancy? 7%? What do you think?
Sure.
7% sounds fair to you?
Sure.
Yeah. All right. So after accounting for vacancy minus vacancy, 7%, and I run through these numbers with the seller. So after accounting for vacancy, that puts us around $94,000 a year in rents. All right. So Ms. Seller, I'm not going to manage this myself. I'm going to have to pay a property manager. So they're going to take 7%. So here's my annual income. Annual income. All right, so Ms. Seller, here's my annual income. I'm not going to manage it myself. I'm going to have a property manager manage it for me, and they're going to charge me 7%. So it's going to be about $7,000 I pay in management. Do you know what the property taxes were last year? What was your bill? I'm looking at the county president district. It says 11,000. Does that sound accurate to you?
Mhm.
So you paid $11,000 last year in taxes. All right. You're going to require I get insurance on the property. So fourplex, buying it for $450. That's going to put my insurance somewhere around $4,500 a year. Does that sound accurate to you? Okay. Minus insurance of $4,500. Now, are these units in really good shape, or do I have to do some work to them? If you can,
Ready.
well, yeah, they might be moving ready, but are they outdated a little bit? They have any deferred maintenance? When's the last time you replaced the roof?
6 years ago.
6 years ago. Okay. Was there any hail damage recently with all these storms or anything like that? No. Okay. AC units. When did you last replace those?
8 years ago.
Water heaters.
Working fine.
So you got what kind of countertops does it have in it?
The best.
Quartz countertops.
We can schedule a showing if you'd like.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'd love to come view the property, but I just want to kind of run through this real quick, kind of see if first this will even make sense for you. The seller finance option. I'm just wondering about how much I'm gonna have to put in maintenance or what we should account for.
The property management.
Probably about like $100 a door per month. Does that sound fair?
Potentially.
You agree with that? So 100 times 4 times 12. So about $4,800 a year for maintenance. Does that sound accurate? All right, minus 4,800. Properties always have maintenance. Don't let anybody tell you it's going to be zero, because it's never zero. It's always something. All right, so minus that. So Kat, if I buy this for 450 grand, I probably only want to put down about 10%. So my down payment would be about 45,000. I need to make at least $5,000 a year in cash flow. So our 94 grand, let's see what our NOI is. So 94,000 minus 18 grand minus 4,500 minus 4,800. And then I need to make $5,000 a year in cash flow to get the return desired. Cash flow. So then that puts me at 61,700 divided by 12. So that puts my monthly payments at about $5,000 a month. That doesn't make sense. You said that these units will rent out for $2,100. These are expensive units. Okay, assuming they did rent out for $2,100 a month per unit. In order to cash flow $5,000 a year, assuming all this is accurate, I would need my payments to be $5,000 a month. You think we can make that work? And if they agree to it and all these numbers are true, she might have overestimated on these rents here, $2,100. They probably rent out for like $1,200. But if they did rent out for $2,100 a month per unit, we could afford to pay her $5,000 a month as the mortgage payment in order to cash flow $5,000 a year. And if they agree to it, then great. You just figured out a way to get the deal done. You could pay them the price that they want. You just run them through all these numbers, subtract this cash flow number to come up to your monthly mortgage payments that make sense for cash flow. What do we got?
So can I say I do seller financing if they have a note/lien on the property?
Yes, they can.
And then someone asked if you're interested in investing in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
I am interested in investing in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Do you have any deals we can look at? Huh? Jimmy? Gia wants to see some cash flow. So anyways, you have to be creative right now. You don't want to get stuck in these properties and lose money every single month. And you can always figure out a way to make the deal work if the seller is willing to be creative with you, and if you yourself are creative and know how to navigate these discussions. But always try and find a deal that's got cash flow. And if it doesn't work for cash flow, there's many different ways to get more cash flow too. Short-term rentals, STRs, rent by the room. You can lease it out furnished. Corporate rentals. What are they called? Traveling nurses. But don't overextend yourself here with all these other different options, because if people stop going on vacation, or if you don't have good leases here, or if any of these things go out of business, the one thing that always will not fail is long-term tenants at a good rent rate who want to lease out your unit or your units, and you can always fall back on that. It's easy to try and make your property more profitable by doing these things, but it's harder to make a property that's only profitable doing these things go back down to long-term tenants and have it be profitable there. So always underwrite it and try and figure out and buy properties that work with long-term tenants and they cash flow in that way. And then from there, you can always upgrade and try and bring them up the value ladder. But it's hard to start here and make long-term work if it only works here. What questions do we have? For Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, or for anybody here, send over your deals to admin@trehomes.com, admin@trehomes.com. Let's check them out. Let's buy deals together. That's ultimately our goal. Is all you people here, you there, everybody who is coming to the event at the end of the month. We just want to buy real estate with you. Let's all partner up. Let's go buy some deals together. Let's become wealthy together. Let's get some cash flow together, and let's all grow together. Ultimately, that is our goal. And by the way, if you don't have a ticket yet, make sure you grab one to the Entrepreneur Real Estate Workshop happening here in Austin, Texas at the end of the month. It is going to be an all-day event. Let me pop it up on the screen. Oh, there it is. It's going to be an all-day event on April 29th. We're going to be going through a workbook, and we're going to be teaching people how to invest in real estate, how to think creatively, how to build the team, how to find the deals, analyze the deals, run the numbers, get financing, get partners, get the good managers to start buying more deals. There's going to be a lot of people there who you may be able to meet some partners, you may be able to meet some contractors, you may be able to meet some people who have money for your deals or vice versa. We got some guest speakers. We got entrepreneurs Doreen Sidney. We got entrepreneur John Michael Perez. They're both going to hop up on stage and talk about how real estate has changed their life. John, not too long ago, similar to myself, was working at he was a server at Kirby Lane Cafe. And real estate has changed his life tremendously. Doreen Sidney, she was a nurse for 20-something years. She didn't grow up very wealthy, neither did John Michael Perez, and real estate has made them wealthy. Doreen and her husband Roy, they own, I don't know, they probably own 15 to 20 different units. Doreen gets cash flow every single month, I can promise you that. And she also is Entrepreneur Success Department here at TRE. So we're going to have guest speakers there talking about how real estate's changed their life. It'll be a good time to meet a lot of people, network, learn how to invest in real estate so you can start implementing. And we're going to give you exact steps. We're going to show you, for those out there who have never invested in real estate before and you feel like maybe it's the education, the knowledge, the resources, something like that that's holding you back. Once you come to this event and you get in the room with the right people, you're given the resources, you're given the connections, and you're shown exactly what to do and how to do it, you'll be able to let go of any of those excuses that have been holding you back, and you can start taking action to start building some wealth for you and your family. The way that you can get that is it depends on what channel you're buying from, but just go to our about section, go to our description, go to our bio, click the link, and we'd love to see you there in 3 weeks. End of the month, Entrepreneur Real Estate Workshop. And by the way, Pittsburgh, we want to see you in person, but if you can't make it in person, go ahead and grab a virtual ticket. Other than that, look for cash flow. If you got deals, send them to us, admin@thierryhomes.com. We want to help, and we'll see you out there.